Hello my dear friends, this is a PaintyKat. My name is Catherine. Today we're going to paint with watercolor and we will create painting with beautiful flowers, which is Peony. This is a paper I'm using today and also I demonstrated brushes. I will use just a normal watercolor brushes, bigger one and a medium size, and maybe if we will need to, we will use a small one also. This tutorial is demonstrational, so here we will talk about main moments, the most important ones, and we will take a look really short at the working process. Welcome on Patreon. There you can find real-time version of this tutorial. It's going for 3 hours, so this painting taking pretty much lots of time because we gonna create a lots and lots of details here. We will use different techniques. We will use some of calligraphy techniques. Also we will mix it with just a normal wet on wet, dry brushing and all others. So from the start we have to transfer sketch lines on a paper, and I have to warn you, you need to clean your sketch lines and it's have to be visible just for you. As for me, I will keep them more visible because I want to demonstrate you process in all details. You can see that shape of flowers kinda basic. I didn't create lines for each petals one by one, right? Because we're gonna create them just with brushes. Here I have really watery consistency of watercolor in my palette, you can see it, and after I'm taking watery consistency half transparent on my brush, I'm taking a little tiny bit of really concentrated watercolor from my box on the tip of the brush, and I'm going with my brush on a way like petals growing from the center and going out. So the darkest watercolor have to be from the start of the petal, and on the edge watercolor there gonna be more transparent, something like that. So in one go we have a different consistency, different concentration of watercolor on a brush. You can see I'm really trying to turn my brush on a way how petals growing like this, and we going layer by layer, petal by petal. By the way, we have to keep hair dryer really close to us this time because we will dry layers pretty often. So you can see I did first circle of petals, and just before I'm gonna go the next one, I will dry these petals. You know, I don't like an idea to have some accidental watercolor floating, spreading into the previous wet areas. When we leading painting this way, drying time by time, it's helping us to control petals, details in a way we like. We can keep some edges really sharp, we can mix colors there where we need to, where we want to, wet and wet for example. But when we dry, right, we really can prevent painting from accidental issues. This way I'm going in many circles, layer by layer, and we have a peony. Again, here it's a demonstration tutorial, short one, so hopefully you got an idea in general, because here we're gonna have 3 peonies. This is the biggest one. Second one have another turn, another view, like a side view to us. And you can see this is not a photocopy of peony. It's have like a calligraphy style, and basically with the calligraphy brushes it's the same. From the palette we can get more watery consistency, more light ink if we're talking about calligraphy painting. Here it's a watercolor, and just a pointy tip of brush. With it we're taking concentrated color from the box. This way we can handle like gradient of color in each petal. When we creating small petals we use a smaller brush, like a medium size. When we going for biggest petals we use bigger brush. For detailing, for tiny detailing here, I really recommend to you to get like a 00 brush, really tiny, really pointy. As for me, personally, I prefer long bristle brushes when they are tiny, because long bristle can handle lots of watercolor, even if number of the brush really small. So here I'm just creating those tiny little details in the center of the each peonies. And about colors here, you can feel like this pink color kind of cold tone, right? So for center I'd recommend to use yellow with warm tone. If you're going opposite way, peonies can be so different in Chinese paintings. It can be violet, green, yellow, any color you like. As for me now, you can see it's a pink color. If you will go for warm tone for your peony, then include cold tone yellow in a center, like lemon cadmium, for example. As soon as all 3 flowers here done, a big one, medium-sized flower, and a little bud with petals around, we gonna create a background. It's optional, I have to say. You can create just leaves, stems and flowers and keep background empty, white. It's also will be beautiful, but as soon as I wanted to mix Asian style and European, traditional European style, I also want to include background around my flowers. So I will start with the color of the sky. Imagine like we have somewhere behind the peonies a little bit of blue, it's a cobalt blue. And here we're gonna use a wet on wet technique. All we have to do here is to be accurate while we're touching edge of petals. Here, yes, we have to be accurate. All lines still visible from my sketch, so it's giving me ability to control shapes of leaves, of future leaves and stems really well. I will spread color. You can mix, you know, a little bit of blue, maybe violet, maybe green all together. As for me, I added a bit of sepia in the left bottom corner, and you can see right now the whole area on the bottom right side is green because there gonna be lots and lots and lots of green leaves. Here we're gonna use a negative technique. The main idea of it, we're filling not leaves and stems. We are filling with the dark color areas behind leaves and stems. We can do many layers, we can detail leaves really well. Here sometimes I like to include into the green parts like color from flowers, and also for peonies. It's looking pretty nice. Same with the roses. Probably you saw those kind of roses that have dark brown or maybe purple burgundy color in a leaves, also leaves and a stem. I really like this detail, and here I'm using the same. This is not just a normal peonies as we have here around me, you know, it's possible go to any flower shop and get like a bouquet of it. Chinese peony are different, and stems of these peonies usually have like a crust in a bottom part. And in my area, I'm living in a cold climate, I'd say it's only possible to catch these flowers in a botanical garden in a very short time. They're possible to, you know, go there and see how they looking in real, not just by photos. Also, of course, I recommend to you Google search for the Chinese peonies, many colors. You can get this technique from a real-time tutorial, and you can create peonies with different colors. As soon as I'm happy with leaves, I layer it here a little bit. I added interesting details. So the next step, we are giving more depth to those area behind leaves and stems. It will give nice contrast to the foreground and will, you know, like will be a catchy detail in this painting. Each step here, not hard to repeat, I'd say. This tutorial that long just because we have so many petals and leaves and stems. If you wanna create it shorter, like to paint the whole painting in one go in like 1 hour, I really recommend to you get just one flower on a paper. You can transfer only one flower from my sketch. This way we can still learn technique, but we can complete painting in a shorter time. The last step here, it's a final detailing. Here I recommend really to step back time by time and check from distance how it's looking in a common view. When we creating really detailed, really contrasted painting, sometimes it's an issue when we detailing too much, over detailing. So prevent this moment, I recommend to check from the like 1 meter or so and decide if we need more, maybe some deep color somewhere inside of the flowers, you know, maybe create some touch of light on the stems or on the leaves. In my view, center of painting here it's flowers, so I decided to give more depth between stamens, just a little bit. So you can see right now I switched to the really tiny brush number 0. But this color of shadows between a little yellow dots, it's still dark pink. Same color as flower petals have, no any black here. I think it will ruin a lightweight feeling from this painting. And as a last detail here, I'm always recommending to set your own sign. Usually Asian calligraphy paintings have like a stamp, square stamp in a corner. I have no stamp, but I like to style my sign. Just will create it in a square shape. My dear friends, painting is done. If you like to create it with me in all details, step by step, welcome on Patreon, and please be patient there because a real-time tutorial pretty much long. Be careful, we can remove tape only when painting completely dried. And also usually I'm using the way to warm a little bit, to warm the tape first, as I do right now with my hairdryer. Look, and as soon as it warms, I'm not throwing this tape fast. I have to share it again and comment right now because I had a question about it on a previous week. Just be careful here. When we throwing kind of fast, we can ruin surface of paper also. Just, be patient, give warm air, and you will see tape will remove very, very easy. If you have any questions, don't be shy to ask me here on the comments. You can share to me your paintings, follow my tutorials through Facebook, community wall of Patreon, and Instagram, #PaintyKat. My friends, I wish you all the best. Thank you for joining me on this tutorial, and bye bye.